run. It's gonna wait a little bit, see if, waiting for the viewers to come, and then we'll go about the update of my work. Then I might as well talk about the P5.js and how I code the visual of the code. The creative coding part, kind of like explaining things. So okay, let's see if maybe wait a little bit, like a minute. Well, I'm gonna talk about it. Okay, and also today, just in case someone's here and you want to speak Thai or type in Thai, I don't know, it's kind of late tonight and things are not very good in Thailand. If you follow the news, there's a lot going on, so I don't really expect any, to be honest. Thai people are not interested in here. There's a lot going on there, but yeah, if you're here and want to chat with me in Thai, or just type something, yeah, because I can speak Thai. And maybe a little bit on this video I also will switch between languages, Thai and English. So after the record have been uploaded, maybe any Thai students who interested in creative coding in generative art, or want to find some JavaScript library that like easier for designer or for artists who work and play around, can come and then watch the video which has a person talking in Thai and explain things. Maybe it's easier for them to understand, so I'll be switching between language during the talk here. So let me know also if you cannot hear me speaking. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Maybe. So first of all, maybe I'll show you the video. It's the update from what I will talking, kind of like the overall video. So we will switch the desktop, the audio to. Hope that it's kind of help. Oops. Okay. turn some music off. Alright. Oops. Alright. So just in case you haven't like watched it yet, sorry. Alright. Alright, I'm back. um, so I'm gonna talk about a little bit about P5.js, and then we'll kind of go through the code a little bit, so you can like understand what's going on in case you're interested in how things work and maybe interested in coding, something like that, like this one. Um, so like you see, this is the visual that I designed for here. Okay, what it's gonna look like, kind of. The background of the website, the art project, Symbiotic Musical Chords. And the way it should work is that here you will get the input and you can like respond and play with the music that coming in from Twitter. And you can also have the incoming signal here is when you can select it, and like once is you grab one tweet, and continuity is like the tweet will keep coming like a flow. And then the rhythm here is it's basically has two options, which is like stable and variety. The chord will play uh, like 4 notes in one rooms of the music rooms, like like that, like stable, and I don't know, I'm just like making it up, like the words, because I'm not a musician, but the variety kind of like random, and it will probably the way that I decided, hope that it will get close to the music like or something that more exciting. And here the portal, basically it's start, pause, and stop. So this is just something that they like a switch, so you can like start the music, pause the music, and stop. And maybe I can add like some sections that you can add layers of the music, like background music or drum set, like percussions. Yeah, but basically mainly this kind of like what it looked like now. Maybe some gestures, some features will be added. ค่ะนี้ก็คือจะเป็นสิ่งที่เราจะดีไซน์วันนี้นะคะหมายถึงว่าดีไซน์ไปแล้วสำหรับงานของตวงนะเมื่อกี้ก็อธิบายไปว่าแบบตรงเนี้ยคือจะเป็นหน้าตาข้างหลังก็คือจะเป็นแบ็กกราวด์แล้วก็ตรงตรงนี้ก็คือจะเป็น UI ที่แบบสามารถ interact ได้แต่เดี๋ยวจะให้ดูของจริงอันนี้เป็นวิดีโอนะที่ให้ดูไว้ซึ่งพอมันกดเนี่ยมันก็จะมีการดึงทวีตเข้ามาแล้วก็เล่นเป็นเพลงอะไรแบบเนี้ยถ้าเกิดใครที่ไม่รู้ว่าตวงทำอะไรก็ลองย้อนไปดูวิดีโอก่อนได้ส่วนตัวนี้ก็คือจะแบบเหมือน response สามารถแบบอัพทวีตขึ้นไปได้แล้วก็มีเพลงออกมาอะไรประมาณนี้แต่ว่าวันนี้เราก็จะเริ่มมาตั้งแต่แรกเลยก็คือว่าจะเล่นยังไงกับ P5 นะคะ Okay, so alright, we got one. นี่นะคะก็คือ P5 ใครไม่รู้จัก P5 P5 ก็คือเป็นไลบรารีหนึ่งในการเขียน JavaScript ใช่ไหมแต่แทนที่เราจะเขียนปกติเวลาเราเขียนเราก็จะเขียนเป็น HTML เนอะแล้วก็แบบมี CSS สำหรับการเขียนสไตล์อะไรเงี้ย JavaScript ก็คือเป็นส่วนหนึ่งที่ทำให้เว็บไซต์ของเราสามารถที่จะ interactive ได้นั่นเอง so when you write the website we got the HTML page and then the CSS page to style the website that we got and then we use JavaScript to make it like to animate the element or make games and everything like make it interactable so P5.js has been created in and used very like easy terms and easy ways to organize the code so that people like me who's not totally programmer can understand it and be the first step I think to really get into code but it's very powerful and if you have been work with processing you probably can get along with P5 very well or even if you don't know processings and you write some JavaScript and understand the object-oriented code you can really get through this it's easier to do visual stuff on JavaScript instead of you code in like vanilla JavaScript like it's like a pure JavaScript things which is more complicated to do some even simple image on website yeah let's maybe I get so yeah this is like the homepage of the P5.js organizations and I would say now these versions of the websites pretty have all the information that you need to understand things and so you can go and read all the document here and then like just go start but I'm probably not going to talk like the very basic of thing I'm just gonna jump to how I code things the way it is now and then update my work ค่ะก็คือ P5.js นะถ้าเกิดว่าใครสนใจสามารถลองเข้ามาศึกษาแล้วก็ดูได้มันจะมีทั้งหมดเลยตั้งแต่แบบว่าดาวน์โหลดของมันทำยังไงแล้วก็แบบเป็นพวก reference ต่างๆก็สามารถที่จะอ่านได้ถ้าสงสัยตรงไหนก็เราสามารถติดต่อแบบว่าถ้าเกิดจะแชทถามนะก็แล้วถ้าตอบได้ก็จะพยายามเพราะว่าเป็นภาษาไทยก็จะลองดูแล้วก็มีคอมมูนิตี้มีอะไรอย่างเงี้ยที่แบบแบบเราถามได้อย่างนี้ประมาณนั้นโอเคซ้ำเลยนะอาจจะไม่พูดเยอะยุ่งยากแต่ว่าสิ่งหนึ่งที่น่าสนใจก็คือว่า P5 เนี่ยมี editor ออนไลน์ซึ่งเราก็จะรู้ so one first thing I'm gonna talk about like that P5 is not just the website of them also include the community also create this amazing web editor which you can edit it live and then see what's happened on the right here. And so I use the web editor here, which you also can Google and probably see my code. So you can, if you would want to like edit it and then adapt it to your work, feel free to do it, because this is like the open community, and I really would love to help if my code can help you somehow. So first, when it also like you can just jump to write on the sketch here, the JS, like you don't have to really create index.html or style.css. So it's very cool. Oh, sorry. Okay. So when I started this one ตอนแรกที่ตรงทำนะคะก็คือตรงก็ทำเป็นแบบนี้เลยทำเป็นเราจะดูว่าแบบมันจะหมุนยังไงให้มันอยู่รอบเหมือนเป็นดวงอาทิตย์อะแล้วก็มีวงโคจรอยู่รอบเสร็จแล้วตัวดวงอาทิตย์เองก็ต้องหมุนจากจุดศูนย์กลางด้วย so the idea of this is like my image that I want is to something that like move in circular like an orbit and then move across, and so I start with something very plain like 2-dimension, just to see the movement of them. And then the thing that I discover is the cos and sine here. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but I'm not a math, like a math person, so probably cannot explain you very well what cos and sine work. But if you look for something like for some effect that actually move right this, I think this is a good one that I figure it out with the cos and sine. Basically you create like the center point of them, and then you use cos and sine to put it up and down, and to change the variable, change the x and y in here, and that's why it creates this movement of going back and forth. If you can see here in the reference, the sign give you like the curve of like up and down, which the value return in the range of like -1 and 1, and that's why it's give back and forth like this. Anyway, don't ask me like deeper in that, because like I'm saying, I'm not a math person, but I get like how things work like this. And in the same way, cos also give you kind of like the same thing, but it's in the kind of like the opposite way. So this is what I found. You see here that they got one thing that's very good about P5.js is that the example is very clear, and you can like live edit it here. Oops. To see how things actually move. For example here, which I already like filled the blue and yellow, so you kind of like see the reference, the very clear. Like if I get x1, which is the the cos here, let's say in here, and then I click run, and you see it's changed. You see that? That makes that one is like red. See, it's going back and forth in like the diagonal movement because of the cos here, and you basically just change the angle here. And with this effect, like this technique, kind of what we want, which is go round and round on one particular spot. So basically you have to like give the value, like the center x point and the y point that you want to go around, and then give the angle where to start, and then plus the speed of the angle, and then update it in a draw function. I know this is not the basic, like the starting point, because that's gonna take a very long round, but I think this is what good to mention from what I've found in this experiment. อันนี้คือเราพูดถึงเรื่องแบบว่าการที่จะทำหมุนรอบอะไรแบบนี้ที่เป็นเซอร์คูล่าหมุนรอบอะไรแบบนี้แล้วเราก็ยกตัวอย่างพวกแบบ x การที่กำหนดจุด center x นะส่วน center y จากนั้นก็ใช้ cos กับ sin เข้ามาในการค่าแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดใครเขียนโค้ดอยู่แล้วก็จะรู้ว่า set up ก็คือเหมือน set up แล้ว draw ก็คือทำอะไรที่มันซ้ำๆเป็นเฟรมเพราะฉะนั้นหลังจากที่เขียนโค้ดลงไปแล้วก็ต้องอย่าลืมการเขียน angle speed speed นี่คือเป็นเหมือนความเร่งเพราะฉะนั้นในทุก speed มันก็จะบัมขึ้นใช่ปะมันก็จะเป็นเฟรมที่หมุนเวียนไปอะโอเค for like this then the next step from that point if I testing it can we do this exactly same thing but in the WebGL which is well if I had to explain it WebGL is like a 3-dimension frame like a canvas that have depth with it a z in it so you have like depth and then also negative negative z with to go like very deeper like on top of the layer. It's like instead of like the simple canvas now with WebGL it's allowing you to do 3-dimension object with lighting or something that go by layer to the I would say like you can also put camera in it and then play around with the camera as well, something like that. So when I test it, it's worked like this, but it's go a little bit slower. It's like lacking a little bit with the frame. I think that's something with how it's render the frame. But here is what interesting with this function. Orbit control, it give you like the camera here. See, I click the left click of the mouse and then you can move it around. Ta-da! Like I'm saying, it's kind of like give you the it's allowing you to do things in 3-dimension. But when I release the left click, then it's going back into the same spot. Which maybe we don't want that, right? We want the camera, the angle to be where we left it off. But anyway, this is the code that, like this point, the orbit control, this one, gives the ability to do that. ก็คือสำหรับอันนี้นะคะในชิ้น The Sun and Star WebGL นี้ก็คือแบบว่าทำให้เป็นแบบเหมือนเป็น 3-dimension WebGL ก็คือทำเหมือน allow ให้เราแบบว่ามีส่วนลึกได้อะแบบมันจะมี depth เป็นซึ่งสถานด้วย c ปกติมันจะเป็น x y ใช่ไหมอันนี้ก็จะมีตัว c ทำให้แบบมันลึกเข้าไปข้างในได้อะไรแบบนี้แล้วก็ทำเราพวก object พวกแบบว่าsphere หรือว่า box อะไรเงี้ยแล้วก็เล่นกับแสงกับเงาหรือ texture ที่เข้ามาแปะบนวัตถุนั้นแล้วก็มีเรื่องของกล้องเข้ามาอะไรแบบนี้นะแต่ว่าอย่างที่เห็นว่าพอทำเป็น WebGL ปุ๊บเนี่ยมันก็จะแบบ lacking หน่อยอะไรเงี้ยOkay, then the next step after that I can explain with basically what I want at first is a glow effect, like the lighting effect that make my elements shines, like shining.ก็คือตอนที่หลังจากที่ทดสอบอันนั้นแล้วก็เราสเต็ปต่อมาแล้วคือเราจริงๆตอนแรกคืออยากจะคิดวิธีว่าทำยังไงให้มันแบบมันโกลว์มันแบบมันเหมือนมันมีแสงส่องอะไรแบบเนี้ยแล้วก็ไปค้นพบอันนึงซึ่งก็ไม่ใช่เป็นคนคิดหรอกเราไม่ได้คิดอยู่แล้วเราก็มีการแบบอัดแอปตลอด มาจากแบบเป็นเหมือนนักโปรแกรมเมอร์ของชาวญี่ปุ่นเราก็จำเว็บไม่ได้จริงๆแต่ว่าเดี๋ยวยังไงถ้าเกิดนึกออกจะโพสต์ขอบคุณไปเลยในนั้นนะเขาก็คือเสนอเทคนิคในการที่จะใช้เฟรมหรือว่าแบบใช้รูปในการทำออกมาให้มันเป็นแบบคือแทนที่จะเป็นแสงจริงอ่ะก็คือใช้เหมือนเป็น PNG ใส่มาซ้อนทับแทน so what I found well I'm not the one who create this but I learned through the internet and I'm thankful for the Japanese programmer that has been written this technique in his website but it's in Japanese also thank Google for translated because I cannot read Japanese without Google translating. I probably don't know what he's talking about. And the technique is to use the transparent PNG image on as a plane, as a textures, and then you got like the glow effect. Talking about this, if you have been used P5.js, it's kind of like very it's impossible to do the glow filter like in the regular canvas. When moved to WebGL, I think it's you cannot do that. There's no filter technique or function to do that. So some people use like opacity on the shape to kind of like blend it, but it's not gonna have this effect. It's different. Anyway, from that I see here by loading the image and use this technique, I also in testing on the depth of it. Another orbit control is also add some very interesting perspective vision to it. Like now you see here, I can move these around and it's not going back to the same positions. And we got this curve which is very beautiful. So I can the camera can like go far away or like zoom in, like go there. I can go on the bottom, and this happened this swope, I'm not sure how to call this form, happened because of the number of the sphere that you add in and the depth that you add in as well. So this one I adapt from the Japanese programmer, and I add new x, new y, new z, which is the depth of it, using gap. This is the space between each sphere, and I have this. So I'm gonna experiment something so you can see that it's changed when you add something new. So let's say I say the sphere max, which is the maximum of these like little dot here, the green circle, green sphere. So let's say I say maybe just 15, and then I click play again. Then it changed. You see, only 15 that happened. 15 sphere is the maximum of it. What if 100? If I change the gap, which is this one, I don't know, let's make something up. Now it's a very beautiful effect, you see. Instead of use this formula that I designed, I just, randomly give some numbers so you see the different. 12. Nice, right? 9. Let's say 9. So some might wonder why I use this formula. Well, basically when I start doing this one, I'm thinking about going round and round without depth, and this come from it's the same formula with the first one, which give you exactly space between each planet. each small sphere, the blue one. If you have been working with geometry, you probably know that circle has a formula of 2 multiply pi and multiply radius. Got you get the result of the whole length of the circle, like the line, the outline of them. So basically this first formula give you the whole length of them, and then I just divide by the maximum sphere that I give on the top here. So I got like this beautiful tube here, and then move on from the next step. Then the next one I experiment on, make it something like the movement that going inside, like you going along the portal or some tunnel, and I'm thinking about the line that moving inside. So I create a draw plane here. It's a plane that, sorry, here the tunnel. I don't know, maybe I spelled wrong. So when you zoom out, you see it's now exactly the like the tube with, hold on, some glitchy green dot here as the background, and some light here like at the end of the tunnel. That's how I design it. But so my vision is that if I, like the idea is like when I place the camera off the frame and then just freeze it there, then what you get is here, like right here. Like simple, right? Instead of using like 2D and then kind of like design the end of it and then smaller, you just use 3 dimension and just put the camera at the end of another tunnel, like the tube. And say give them speed here too, like there's a speed here.ก็สเต็ปนี้ก็คือลองทำเป็นเส้นๆดูแบบให้มันเป็นท่อเข้าไปอะไรอย่างเงี้ยซึ่งเทคนิคในการทำท่อก็คือตรงนี้เลยตรง e plane นี่นะ plane แล้วก็เราก็ใส่เป็นฟิลเอาปกติเวลาอย่างตอนที่ทำตัวลูกกลมๆอันเนี้ยแล้วมีโกรอ่ะก็คือใช้ texture ใช่ปะแล้วก็ใส่ plane เข้าไปแต่อันเนี้ยคือไม่ต้องมี texture อะไรเพราะว่าเราไม่ได้จะทำให้มันเป็นลวดลายหรือเป็นโกลอะไรเราแค่ต้องการเส้นมาสร้างภาพลวงตาให้เกิดขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นก็คือใช้เพลนตรงนี้และส่วนเพลนที่มันเล็กๆที่เป็นสีม่วงอันใหญ่ๆก็คือใช้เป็นเพลนอันที่2ต่อส่วนทับเข้าไปแบบนี้แล้วก็มีสปีดของการก็คือใช้เป็น C move ตรงนี้เหมือนกันเทคนิคเดียวกันในการทำอะไรที่มันแบบขยับอ่ะก็คือมาใส่สปีดตรงนี้นั่นเองแต่อันนี้ไม่ได้อันนี้เป็นอันแรกที่จับใช้ okay. Then after that the next one that I have been working on for the past couple of days is the UI, the user interface, which I show you, this one, right? So what I create is like a button, but this one is a little bit different because P5.js also has the ability to do, like, to create the, I would say, like, the real HTML element. Like you see here, like, it's create element. It's not the button that has been created, like, it's not like a fake it's well, it's I'm not gonna say it's fake. It's like P5 button that you create, maybe is um, created by a draw function, but it's not has been attached to the HTML. This one is different because it all will always be on top, and create it this way let you use some CSS element or technique, but you can kind of like it's separate from the canvas of the P5. But what I've been working on is to like kind of like merge them together. So the button is the hit is the actual element of HTML, but the light here, like the box on the back, the panel, is created from P5, from the canvas of P5. You see at the end what I'm talking about. It's different. It's like the layer that like been um, on top of each other. อันนี้นะคะก็คือลองทำเป็นแบบเป็นการใช้ P5 เข้ามาแล้วก็สร้างแบบเป็น create element อะคือ P5 สามารถสร้าง element ที่เป็น HTML แปะเข้าไปบนเว็บได้ด้วยแต่ว่ามันจะเหมือนจะอยู่แยก layer จาก create canvas คือมันจะไม่ได้อยู่บน canvas ที่เรา create ขึ้น P5 ส่วนใหญ่มันข้าง div อันหนึ่งสร้าง canvas เอาไว้แล้วก็แยกกัน so this is like the experiment and I see it's it's success, like I can type thing with the input exactly, and it kind of link and it can grab font here, style, like I can also style things using the actual CSS, not just through the P5, so it worked. แล้วก็ต่อมาสเต็ปต่อมาก็คือเราก็จะเริ่มสร้างให้มันเยอะขึ้น so what's good thing about P5 for me, because I can add like like spatial animations or some interaction design that easier than use CSS, because I'm used to P5 more than just write animation in CSS. And like you see it, for example, I can like make this move. It's simple, but it's quicker if I do it in P5 than just CSS. And all this light, when you click incoming signal, like maybe you design, you want to hear the tweet only once and in variety rhythm, and then you want to start it, then you click start here. I'm gonna change it here. See, and then start here. Yeah, so so the next step from here, I'll have to merge them, right? I have to merge the UI on top of the visual, and that what I'm gonna do next. I'll show you. So basically when you use P5 anything, not just P5, like the JavaScript things, nowadays they don't let the code to actually dig into your file, your folder right away. You have to use like you have to turn on like a local portal, so the browser can go to your actual folder in your computer and then get data. It's just like security things. Like back in the day, you can just like work with HTML and JavaScript and then grab data from your folder on your computer on your hard drive without using the local host. So now this is the one that I've used. I think there's many other brand or software, but this is like the easier one and then free. So when you turn it on, it's showing you here, and then you kind of like go to things. And for this project, the first few weeks, if you've been you've seen that there's like a signal moods. the one that actually play the music. It's like the second development, and this is what I'm gonna show you next. This is it. So I merged them, the UI and the background. The little thing that I pointed out, if you've seen that the WebGL kind of like go through the UI, and that because it's still on the same canvas, although the panel has been placed on top of the background. But look at this. You see that I discovered that the element, which is the actual button, and the input here is always on top of the frame. Why, like the panel and here, the animations or this little light is stuck with the canvas, and when I place it, it's still running. See, it's like moving. There's moving animations, which is very interesting. But what I'm also realized to fix this is, for the issues of the tube here, the line, is I create like a formula, like the if else function to, once it touch the panel, then the line gets shorter. That's how I fix the problem for now. Maybe it's not the best way to design it, but kind of how it is now. Sorry, this is the bug. And now the lights work here. Maybe it's not shiny. It's how to make it bigger or shinier. I don't know. Can type something. Eventually, it's supposed to, like, you respond it and then go up, like this one. Remember this one when you type something? I am typing something. Yep. And it's supposed to come up here. Like the next step from now is to get the visual and the logic of how to play the audio, the synthesized audio together on one site now, because which I'm very excited, because I feel like there's a lot of lacking, and also maybe because of my laptop is old and the WebGL kind of like really pull your RAM, like the speed of your computer down very much. So we'll see when everything get together on one code how it's gonna go, and I probably have a lot of bug, a lot of lacking. And here's how the code look like now. This is the signal move codes, and you see like audio data. I have like chord here. Oh, here it is. Now it's kind of like merged. I don't know, maybe I'm not like the best coder, so maybe my code is messy, but I hope it's helped you somehow with what I discover. Especially if you looking for some specific movement like the orbit and turning around. I hope this helped. See, I had got a lot of button here. I think I have mentioned, but I'll mention it again because it's good to help everyone learning. So like I'm saying, P5JS has the web editor, which is very useful for you to learn and then to see the actual code, the source code. I grow so much from this community, and the way that they have this web editor helped me a lot to learn things. Um, you can also search on Google and maybe search the name here, or I don't know, maybe my names, and you want to see the code. If it's helpful with your project, whatever it is, then you know you can feel free to see the code that I been written, because I also learned from someone else, and I hope that my code can help you learn something else too. ก็อันนี้มึกสรุปเฉยๆว่าแบบ P5JS นะคะมีเว็บเอดิเตอร์นี้ถ้าเกิดว่าใครคิดไม่ออกหรือแบบต้องการตัวอย่างจากที่พูดมาในนี้ก็ลองเสิร์ชชื่อเราตรงนี้หรือว่าชื่อพวกแบบเนี่ยชื่อตรงนี้มั้งแล้วก็จะเจอนะถ้าใครกำลังหาพวกเทคนิคแบบว่าทำไอ้กลมๆแบบนี้ท่อเธออะไรแบบเนี้ยลองดูว่าถ้ามันช่วยได้ก็อาจจะเป็นแรงบันดาลใจอื่นๆต่อมาให้สามารถเปลี่ยนสมมติเปลี่ยนสีอะไรลองดูคือเสิร์ชปุ๊บก็จะอาจจะเจอชื่อเราเป็นแบบสเก็ตอะไรอย่างงี้แต่ว่าสเก็ตอันล่างๆเลยถ้าแบบเข้าไปดูของเราจะแบบไม่ได้ดีมากนะดูอันแต่แรกๆอันหลังๆของพอที่แบบเริ่มแบบโค้ดเก่งแล้วอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะหรือว่าแบบไปดูตัวอย่างในเว็บเขาก็ได้yeah, I think that's it. I think this is the whole update, and then what I want to talk about. Hope it's helpful with someone who looking for like something in P5JS that maybe help with your project. Any questions? I don't know. Probably no questions because but if there is any questions, let me know before I turn this off. It's midnight here in Thailand. Okay, let me check. Where is this YouTube channel?